I welcome you all back to the channel. This is ASA Studio. Today we'll be retouching this image, and I'm going to be showing you a few techniques I use in retouching my images. So let's get started. Now, for this type of image, this is how I go about editing it. First of all, I would like to balance the skin color, and for us to do that, I'm going to go ahead to grab one adjustment layer, which is the hue and saturation adjustment layer. And because I know this color over here, it's not just the same with the one on her face, so I'm just going to target this color, which is the yellow color. I'll go ahead to the master channel, this drop down menu, and I'll select the yellow. And for us to prove that we are actually selecting the yellow, you can see if I increase the hue, sorry, this is the master. Like I said go back to the yellow. Yeah, if I increase the hue, you see that it's affecting, targeting the yellow parts of our skin. So now I'm going to be showing you what you need to adjust for us to blend the skin tone. Sometimes you need to adjust the hue, you need to adjust the saturation, or sometimes in the lightness. So in this case, I think we need to adjust the hue. Now I'm going to bring it back a little, the yellow, and see what happens when I bring it back. So I'm trying to make the skin color the same with the face, and also we could bring down the saturation, and you can see how it's blended with the face. So this is our before, and then this is our after. Now if you feel like it's not catching all the colors in the yellow, you can increase the slider over here, take it up, and then take this one backwards. So that's we compensate for those places we didn't select. So let me zoom in for you, and let me quickly do before and after. So this is our before, and then this is our after. Just a little bit touch, and makes a very big difference. Alright, so now I'm going to create a stem visible layer. Ctrl Shift Alternate E to create a stem visible layer. Let's take it up above, and then now I'm going to correct the eye. Let's try and make the color of the eyes white. So let's zoom in. You can see it's having some red and not just looking okay, so we need to fix that. For us to do that, I'm going to grab the solid color adjustment, and I'm just going to hit OK, turn it off, double click on this selection, and then select the eyes. So this color, I'm going to take it up a little bit, and then hit OK. Now let's zoom out. I'm going to turn it off and change the blending mode to divide. Okay, so now it's affecting the whole skin, and it's giving us the real color of the of the model. So I'm going to bring it down a little to brighten up the image, and then I'm going to hit OK. So let's see before and then after. So notice how it brought the image back to life. So before and then after. If you want to get more, of which I don't like taking it down from here like this and start getting, sometimes I like leaving it here, and then it's OK, and then I grab the hue and saturation adjustment layer, and then I clip it to the one below, and then I increase the saturation. So notice as I increase the saturation, it gives it a kind of feel, morning and afternoon feel. So let's take it back so we maintain the other color like that, and then I'm going to go back to it and then bring it down a little to brighten the image up. I'm going to hit OK. Now because of this setting we did, the eyes is already getting the the right exposure. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab another adjustment layer, which is the photo filter, and I'm not going to clip it. I'm just going to change the warming to color filter 82, and then I'm going to grab the adjustment layer, which is the black and white adjustment layer, and I'm going to group the two together. So let's group the two together, and now I'm going to rename it eyes, whiten. So I'm trying to whiten the eyes, and I'm going to open it up, and then go to this one, and let's mess around with the color. So something like this, and let's see about the yellow. Alright, so this should be fine. I'm going to decrease the opacity a bit, so something like, let's leave it at 80. I'm going to close it and then create a mask for it. Now I'm going to invert the mask, Ctrl I, and grab my brush tool, lift it on it. I'm going to make the hardness soft, and then let's close it back. Let's zoom in, increase the size of the brush, and we're going to paint with black as our foreground color. So let's change the foreground and the background color. Foreground color white because the mask is black, and then we paint over like this. So something like this. Mind you, don't mess around. I would advise you not to, paint over the height. So let's go like that, and this other one too, like that. So hit X on the keyboard, and then I'm going to paint over that. Alright, so now that we have the way it is, you can see the before and then the after. Now it's not looking natural. So what we need to do to adjust that is to decrease the opacity till where it looks natural. So somewhere around there looks fine to me compared to before and then the after. So this is then removing that part. So hit X on the keyboard. Let's add in some of the red on the eyes like that. Alright, so now that we have it, I'm going to increase it again to 76. Okay, now we're going to do some frequency separation and dodging and burning. So this is how I'm going to do that. Hit Ctrl Shift Alternate E to create a stem visible layer, then hit Ctrl J twice. And why I'm doing this is because I want to use this layer 2, this one right here that I selected, as a reference to check the before and after. So this one I'm going to name it texture, Texture, and hit enter. And then I'm going to turn this off, select the color layer. I talked about blur, so go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Now this is how blur works. If you want to, if the blemishes are very sharp and hard and pronounced, you need to choose a lesser blur. But if you have less blemishes and the rest, you choose a higher blur. So in this case we have less blemishes, so I'm going to choose higher blur like this. Let's just leave it like this. So this should be okay by me. I'm just going to reduce it to 6. So it's okay. Now that we have it, turn the texture layer on and go to image, select the texture layer, go to image, apply image. Now you're going to see more texture because we blurred it very well. Now under the layer, go to color, and under the blending mode, select subtract. You can see we have more texture because we blurred the image very well. And put your scale to offset 128. It's okay. Now I'm going to group these two together. That's going to be our frequency separation. Now select the texture layer, change the blending mode to linear light. Alright, so now for the color layer, we're going to use the mixer tool brush, and for the texture layer, you are going to use the clone stamp tool, which is here, clone stamp tool. So now let's start with this one. Select the color layer, and I'm going to blend the image. So this is how I'm going to blend it. Just blend the colors together like this. So you're doing some frequency separation. So I'm going to come back to the video after I finish blending the image together. And there are so many ways to to do this. You can use the Lasso tool as well. So I'm going to show you. I usually avoid the highlight so as not to make the image look flat, and sometimes I just dab in like this once in a while. So let's go ahead and do this down. Alright, so let me pause the video, and when I'm through I will get back to you. So I'm done blurring and using the mixer tool brush. I'm going to select the texture layer now, and then go to the clone stamp tool, and I'm going to fix just this little blemishes we have. So decrease the size of the brush, pick an area that has a fresh skin texture like this side. I'm going to hold down Alt and left click, and then go over to where the blemishes are and then fix it. You can turn on the align layer, and it's going to follow up the skin tone, but I don't like turning it on. Just like doing it manually. Alt and then click here, Alt, and then fix all those blemishes she has, and just like that, and that's gone. For this one, I'm going to do this And then let's see some other places we have blemishes. So something like this. Okay, I'm going to zoom in to the forehead, and then we have less blemishes there. So I'm just going to leave it like that for the now. I'll just did some of the blemishes. So let's see before and after. So these are before, and then this is our after. These are before, and then this is our after. So now I would like to do the dodge and burn. So for us to do that, we're going to use the curves. So go grab curves. Let's go grab curve layer. I'm going to grab 2 curve layer. Alright, so you can actually run these actions. So I'm going to select this one and then bring it down to something like this. Very well. And it's the close button. I'm going to do this as well. Let's invert the mask of the first one, and then this one as well. I'm going to take it up instead of bringing it back. So take it up like that and bring it, close. Alright, so that will be our burning. So it's I on the keyboard. Now we're going to grab the brush tool, and then we're going to enhance the highlight. So for this one, I rename this one burn. This is dodge, DODGE. So now let's start with the dodge. I'm gonna hit the change the blend, the foreground color to white because the mask is black, and then just paint over. Let's make the brush add, and then come back, hit it, and then hold down shift, and it's going to draw a straight line like this. Same thing as this one. Sorry, Ctrl Z, click, and then hold down shift. It's going to draw a straight line. So I'm going to do this as well, just a little bit. And let's enhance this place a little bit. Sorry, I keep holding down shift. So just like that. And let's do for the lips, make it smaller, and just do something like this. Ctrl Z. I'll do it again because I'm using the mouse. So like that. And let's do some on our lips. So just notice where I'm just putting the dodging and burning. I'm going to put here also, draw X. Let's do 1 here. And you can also do for our ear, those places that has highlights. Okay, so for our skin, I'm going to put 1 here, a very big one, and then hold down shift and drag it down like this, and also put here and drag it down. Okay, so just more, and we're good. I think we're good. I'm going to do some here on our nose like this, and this one. Okay, so let's increase it a bit so it becomes pronounced. So like that. I'm going to select the burn, and then I'm going to do the same. So for the nose, I'm just going to draw something like this, and then something like this. Okay, so here and here. So I'm going to do a very big one here. So just follow the step I take, and let's do one here like this. So we are just creating a 3D dimension. So I'm just gonna do one here, and then for our lips also, let's do some here and here, and 1 here. Let's do 1 here. I'm gonna go back to this one and draw 1 and 2. All right. So on the eyes, I'm gonna focus and do 1 here and 1 here and 1 here. Okay. So I think we're good with it. Now, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go ahead and blow it. Let's start with this one, the burn and dodge. Go to Windows and go to Properties. So it's going to bring out the properties of the mask, and then you're going to feather it out. Just feather it out till you start getting something like, a real. So like this. I will advise you to zoom out so you see, make it look real. Alright, so zoom in back and you have that. Okay, so now turn this on, go to the mask, go to Windows, Properties, And the same thing, properties, sorry, I said go to properties, max properties, and then go to feather, and we're going to feather it out. So see, same thing, I'll advise you, let's feather it out. So find the sweet spot for it. I'll advise you to zoom out so you can see. So this should be good. I'll go ahead, this one, same thing, Windows properties, and let's bring the feather up a bit. Okay, so this should be good for me. And now we can zoom in. I'm going to group the two together, and then off and on. So off and on. You can see how it brought out the the image the more. Okay, so after that, let's do some color grading. So for this, I'm going to create a standard visible layer, and then I'm going to take it to camera raw filter. So go to filter, camera raw filter. So here we are in camera raw filter. I'm going to go to the basic tab, and then I'm going to increase the highlight to give more definition, and also increase the white just a bit. So for the shadows, I'm going to leave it just because of the dodging and burn. I'm going to bring out the black, bring it back a bit, and this is too much, so just a bit, and then I'm going to close it. Okay, for the texture, let's bring up the texture, and this we had more skin tones, so skin texture, I mean to say, to the image. So don't overdo it, just find a sweet spot, or you can add your skin texture naturally, but I just like using the texture itself. So something like this is okay for me, just a bit, and then I'm going to close it. Now I'm going to go focus more on the curves. You can bring up the highlight a bit, and then bring down the shadows. So it's going to create this 3D tension. Open up the color mixer, let's go to the red, and let's give the red some red, and make the yellow look yellowish like that, and the the orange look yellow. Okay, now I'm going to focus on this this color, so we can zoom in, and then that is the blue, so I'm going to bring it towards the blue like that, and the purple, I'm going to take it towards the purple. I can see purple over here, and bring this one as well towards the purple. And let's go to the saturation. I'm going to increase the saturation of the purple, so it will be pronounced like that, and increase the saturation of the magenta and saturation of the blues. So just see how it's transforming the image. Okay, so now let's increase the saturation of the skin, the yellow a bit, and the orange like that, and then let's do for the red. Okay, so now that we have it like this, I think I'm fine with the way it looks. So I'm going to close it, and we can go to our calibration, which is the last one, and we can bring this backward a bit to give some red. If we take it forward, it's going to look yellowish. I think I like this golden skin, so I'm going to leave it like that, and bring back the blues, so not too much. But if you take it too much, it's going to look reddish, so not too much. I think we could even bring it up or forward, but what's the essence of that? Let's take it forward, and then it looks like this, and we could bring this back to give it this greenish feel. So I'm going to take it backwards, and I'm done. So let's look at before and then the after. So you can see the color grade before and then the after. Alright, so I'm going to hit OK on the keyboard, and it's going to transform to that. Wow. So this is before, and then this is after. This is before, and then this is after. So for this, I'm going to end the tutorial here. You can as well take the photo further if you want to keep editing. So I'm going to stop here as the end of the tutorial. So if you learn one or two things, let me know in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, kindly subscribe. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you.